something strange happens when you begin becoming mentally strong. The same things that once upset you start feeling insignificant. Criticism doesn't hit as hard. Small problems stop ruining your day, and situations that once made you anxious suddenly feel manageable. You begin reacting differently to life, calmer, more focused, more in control, and sometimes you don't even realize it's happening. Because mental strength doesn't appear overnight. It grows slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. But there are certain clear signs that your mind is becoming stronger, signs that you are developing emotional control, resilience, and clarity that most people never build. In this video, we're going to explore 7 powerful signs that you are becoming mentally strong. If you recognize these signs in yourself, it means your mindset is evolving in a powerful way. But before we begin, I want to ask you something. Have you noticed yourself becoming calmer in situations that used to stress you out? Let's begin with the first sign. Sign 1. You stop reacting to everything. One of the clearest signs of mental strength is emotional control. Most people react to everything. A rude comment ruins their mood. A small inconvenience creates frustration. Someone's opinion triggers anger. But mentally strong people begin to notice something important. Not every situation deserves a reaction. When your mind becomes stronger, you start creating a pause between the event and your response. Instead of reacting instantly, you observe. You think. You choose how to respond. And that small pause changes everything. Because that pause gives you control. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that you always have the power to choose how you respond to events. Most people never realize this. They believe emotions control them, but mentally strong individuals realize the opposite. Their response is a choice. Imagine someone criticizing you. In the past, you may have reacted immediately. Defensive, angry, frustrated. But as your mental strength grows, something different happens. You pause, you evaluate, you ask yourself, is this criticism useful? If yes, you improve. If not, you ignore it. Either way, your peace of mind remains intact, and that's what emotional discipline looks like. The world may remain chaotic, but your inner state becomes stable. This is why emotionally disciplined people often appear calm, even in stressful situations. They have trained themselves not to react impulsively, and that level of control is a clear sign of mental growth. Let me ask you something. Have you noticed yourself reacting less emotionally to things that once bothered you? The next sign is something that completely changes how you interact with the world. Sign 2. You become comfortable being alone. One of the most underrated signs of mental strength is the ability to enjoy solitude. Most people fear being alone. They constantly need noise, conversation, distraction, social validation. Why? Because silence forces them to face their own thoughts. But mentally strong individuals begin to appreciate solitude, not because they dislike people, but because they value clarity. When you spend time alone, your mind becomes quieter. You begin reflecting on your life, your choices, your priorities, And in that quiet space, you begin understanding yourself better. Marcus Aurelius spent countless hours writing personal reflections in his journal. He used solitude as a tool for self-improvement, because when the noise of the world disappears, your thoughts become clearer. You begin asking deeper questions. What kind of person do I want to become? What habits are helping me grow? What behaviors are holding me back? These reflections help you develop wisdom. And over time, solitude becomes something powerful. Instead of loneliness, it becomes self-awareness. You become comfortable with your own company. You stop needing constant validation. And when someone becomes comfortable alone, something interesting happens. Their independence becomes visible. People can sense when someone does not desperately seek approval, and that quiet independence signals strength. Mentally strong people know they can stand alone if necessary. Their identity does not depend entirely on other people's opinions, and that self-sufficiency creates confidence. Let me ask you something. Do you enjoy spending time alone, reflecting on your thoughts? Or do you prefer constant social interaction? We have talked about two powerful signs that your mind is becoming stronger. You stop reacting emotionally to everything, and you become comfortable spending time alone. These two signs already show something important. Your mind is starting to move away from constant emotional reaction and toward intentional control. But mental strength goes even deeper. It changes how you view failure, criticism, and even discomfort. Let's continue with the next signs. Sign 3. You stop taking everything personally. One of the biggest sources of emotional suffering is taking things personally. Someone criticizes you. Someone disagrees with you. Someone ignores you. And immediately, the mind interprets it as an attack. But as your mental strength grows, something powerful begins to happen. You start realizing that most things people do have very little to do with you. People act according to their own fears, their own insecurities, their own stress, their own experiences. When someone speaks harshly, it often reflects their emotional state more than your worth. Mentally strong people understand this. Instead of absorbing every negative comment, they observe it with perspective. They ask themselves, is this criticism useful? If yes, they learn from it. If not, they move on. This mindset creates emotional freedom, because when you stop taking everything personally, your mind becomes lighter. You stop carrying unnecessary emotional weight. Imagine someone making a negative comment about you. Instead of replaying it in your mind all day, you simply acknowledge it and move forward. That's mental strength, because it shows you are no longer allowing every external opinion to control your internal state. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said that people are disturbed not by events themselves, but by their interpretation of them, and mentally strong individuals learn to control that interpretation. They realize they cannot control what others say, but they can control how much power those words have. Let me ask you something. Have you become better at ignoring negative opinions that once bothered you? Sign 4. You start seeing challenges as opportunities. Most people view challenges as problems, something that interrupts their plans. something that causes stress, something they wish would disappear. But mentally strong individuals start seeing challenges differently. They begin seeing them as training for their mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote something powerful about this. He said that the obstacle in the path becomes the path. In other words, the difficulty itself becomes the opportunity for growth. Think about physical exercise. Your muscles grow stronger because of resistance. Without resistance, they remain weak. Your mind works the same way. Challenges strengthen your resilience. They sharpen your problem-solving skills. They build patience. They develop emotional control. When mentally strong people face a problem, they ask a different question than most people. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What can this teach me?" This shift in perspective changes everything. Suddenly, challenges stop feeling like punishment. They become opportunities for improvement. Think about the most mentally strong people. Chances are they didn't develop strength through comfort. They developed strength through difficulty, failures, rejections, unexpected problems. But instead of breaking them, these experiences made them stronger. That's because they learned to see adversity as training. Let me ask you something. When challenges appear in your life, do you see them as obstacles or opportunities? Sign 5. You care less about what people think. At some point in life, many people realize how exhausting it is to constantly seek approval, trying to impress others, trying to avoid criticism, trying to be liked by everyone. It becomes mentally draining. But as your mental strength grows, something begins to change. You start caring less about other people's opinions, not in a rude or arrogant way, but in a healthy, balanced way. You realize that everyone has opinions, and those opinions constantly change. Someone may praise you today and criticize you tomorrow. If your self-worth depends on those opinions, your confidence will never be stable. But mentally strong individuals build their identity on something deeper: their values, their principles, their actions. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly that the opinions of others were temporary and often unreliable. What mattered more was living according to his own sense of integrity. When you adopt this mindset, your behavior changes. You stop trying to impress everyone. You stop adjusting your personality just to fit in. You begin making decisions based on what you believe is right, and that independence creates confidence. Because your identity is no longer controlled by external approval, let me ask you something honestly. Do you still worry about what people think of you? Or are you learning to focus on your own path? We have explored 5 powerful signs that your mental strength is growing. You react less emotionally. You become comfortable with solitude. You stop taking everything personally. You start seeing challenges as opportunities. And you care less about other people's opinions. Already, these signs show that your mindset is shifting in a powerful direction. Because mental strength is not about becoming cold or emotionless. It's about developing control, clarity, and resilience. Now we reach the final 2 signs, the ones that reveal a deeper level of inner stability. These are the signs that show your mind is becoming truly strong. Sign 6. You become more patient with life. One of the clearest signs of mental maturity is patience. Most people want everything immediately, quick results, instant success, fast progress. But life rarely works that way. Success takes time. Growth takes time. Healing takes time. Mentally strong people begin to understand this. They stop expecting immediate rewards. Instead, they focus on consistent effort. Think about someone learning a new skill. In the beginning, progress is slow. Mistakes happen frequently. Frustration appears easily, but mentally strong individuals do something different. They remain patient. They keep practicing. They accept that progress takes time. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that nature moves slowly but steadily. Trees do not grow overnight. Rivers do not carve valleys in a single day. Yet over time, their power becomes undeniable. Your personal growth follows the same pattern. Each day of discipline builds momentum. Each small improvement strengthens your mindset, but only if you remain patient enough to continue. Mentally strong people do not expect life to move at their pace. Instead, they adapt to the natural rhythm of growth. They trust the process. And that patience creates resilience, because when you accept that meaningful progress takes time, you stop becoming frustrated by temporary setbacks. You understand that difficulty is part of the journey. Let me ask you something. Have you become more patient with your goals and personal growth? Sign 7. You feel calm in situations that once overwhelmed you. This is one of the strongest indicators that your mental strength is growing. Situations that once caused anxiety begin to feel manageable. Stressful moments that once overwhelmed you now feel easier to handle. Why? Because your mind has developed emotional stability. You have experienced challenges before. You have survived difficult situations, and your brain begins recognizing something important. You are capable of handling more than you once believed. Confidence doesn't come from imagining success. It comes from surviving difficulties. Each challenge you overcome strengthens your belief in yourself, and over time, that belief becomes calm confidence. Imagine facing a situation that once caused intense stress, maybe public speaking, maybe a difficult conversation, maybe an unexpected problem. In the past, your mind may have rushed into panic. But now, something different happens. You pause. You think clearly. You handle the situation step by step. That calmness is a sign of mental growth, because mentally strong individuals don't avoid challenges. They develop the ability to handle them. And once your mind experiences this shift, fear begins losing its power. You start realizing something powerful. Most problems are temporary. Most challenges are manageable. And most fears become smaller once you face them. That realization creates inner calm. The Stoics practiced this mindset constantly. They trained themselves to prepare mentally for difficulties. So when those difficulties appeared, their minds were ready. This is what emotional resilience looks like. Not the absence of problems, but the ability to remain stable while facing them. Let me ask you something. Have you noticed yourself feeling calmer in situations that once stressed you? Because recognizing your progress is an important part of growth. Mental strength is not something you wake up with one morning. It develops gradually, through experience, through reflection, through discipline. Most of the time, you don't even realize it's happening. But if you recognize these signs in your life, it means something important. Your mind is evolving. You are learning to control your reactions. You are becoming more independent. You are developing resilience, and most importantly, you are building the ability to remain calm in a world that often feels chaotic. That kind of inner strength is rare, but it is one of the most valuable qualities a person can develop. Because when your mind becomes strong, external circumstances lose their power over your peace. Now, I want to hear from you. Out of these 7 signs, which one do you relate to the most? 1. You react less emotionally. 2. You enjoy solitude. 3. You stop taking things personally. 4. You see challenges as opportunities. 5. You care less about opinions. 6. You become more patient. 7. You stay calm under pressure. Comment the number below. And if you feel like your mental strength has been growing recently, comment mentally stronger. It's always inspiring to see how many people are working on improving their mindset. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, because the next video will explore something powerful. 10 Stoic lessons that make you emotionally unbreakable. And trust me, some of those lessons can completely change how you see life.